Under direction of the 402nd Army Field Support Brigade and the Army Field Support Battalion, Kuwait, and the Army Prepositioned Stocks Directorate, Army Sustainment Command, APS-5 recently fielded a specially configured brigade set to the soldiers of the 1st Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division, Fort Hood, Texas, who were deployed to Camp Buhring, Kuwait in support of theater operations.
Today we're here at the Camp Buhring, Lot 56. We're conducting the Heavy Brigade Combat Team draw operation supporting the 1st Brigade Combat Team of the 1st Cavalry Division.
Months of planning, consultation, and rehearsal of concept drills preceded the fielding at Camp Buhring, Kuwait, in which the 1st Cav Iron Horse Brigade received customized sets featuring a multitude of wheeled and tracked vehicles or rolling stock and non-rolling stock items like weapons, communication systems, and basic issue items.
If you have to go across the street to Lot 55, additional non-rolling stock equipment is laid out there.
The equipment draw was conducted in 4 iterations. Each iteration kicked off with an overview and safety briefing in which soldiers were briefed on the flow of operations and how to safely conduct the draw. Following the briefing, soldiers dispersed to account for and inspect the equipment they were acquiring. Tracked vehicles and basic issue items. Wheeled vehicles, weapons, non-rolling stock. At the end of each draw, representatives from APS-5, the brigade, and other participants gathered to compare notes and lessons learned from that day's activities. A formal after-action review followed to implement lessons learned and further refine the fielding process.
This equipment was in fantastic shape, much better shape than I'm used to receiving equipment. As far as the coordinations go, we did the same coordinations with the 402nd that we would be expected to do for any draw of equipment, even in a RIPTO. We're kind of bound by what's in our MTO. And the R-Series MTO, the tabulation of equipment, lays out the right and left and the upper and lower limits, if you will, for how many pieces and what type. So we looked at how we were manned, keeping in mind that we have just come out of Iraq and we were task organized as an advise and assist brigade, not as a heavy brigade combat team. So our manning is a little bit different. With that in mind and looking at the mission that we've been given by RCENT, we were able to draw up to an MTO series set. In some cases, we didn't need that full MTO series based on the mission ahead. So we had the flexibility working with the 402nd to draw what we needed and nothing more.
The planning processes for issuing to the 11 Cav were a little unique in that this is actually a deliberate issue as opposed to a hasty issue. So we were able to extend the draw schedule. We were able to accommodate far more of the customers' requirements into the draw cycle, specifically to talk about the configurations, the internal configurations of the vehicles, so that they could be poised in such a way that 11 is used to operating. Again, 11 came out of Iraq, so they were used to operating in a certain environment with a certain amount of equipment, and it was our job to make sure that we had as little break in that continuity as possible. And so, working with the 11 supply and brigade staff, we were able to come up with a schedule that accommodated both. It enabled us to issue the set as close to the way we would normally do it, however we could extend the time period that it took to do it.
After signing for their vehicles and equipment, soldiers moved their assortment of trucks, paladins, and MRAPs to a staging area where everything was loaded onto transport vehicles for the trip to Camp Buhring.
In the Iron Horse Brigade, soldiers are happy to have their equipment because we like what we do. We're pretty proud of the ability we perform at, and these are great. These are the tools of the trade. They're in great shape, and we're going to get after it.
And then it was on to their new home.
The way that this occurred with a warning order initially and then an actual order to issue from AMC a few weeks later gave us the time to really refine our processes. Right from the start, the issue's been going extremely well. We've found some things that we can be doing better along the way, but it's been going absolutely flawlessly up to this point.
The responses I've heard thus far is the best draw of APS that they've witnessed and many of them have gone through an APS draw 2 or 3 times, and they said the best they've seen in any theater they've been in. So I'm very impressed with the capabilities of the 402nd. Colonel John Lascotti and his team have done just a magnificent work here, partnering also with the garrison element here as well as other entities, the workforce, and it's gone extremely well. I've been very impressed with what I've seen this morning and the feedback that I've gotten across the board.
Each APS draw, whether at APS-5 or one of its sister sites around the globe, is unique. Although FM 3-35.1 provides ample guidance regarding the conduct of APS operations, each draw has its own personality depending on the receiving unit's specific needs, timeliness, weather conditions, and many other considerations. The 1st Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division's successful APS-5 draw at Camp Buhring, Kuwait, is just one example of how an APS draw can be conducted. The Army Sustainment Command, 402nd Army Field Support Brigade, and the Army Field Support Battalion, Kuwait, are proud to serve the soldiers and look forward to many more successful APS-5 draws in the future.